Hello everybody, and welcome back to another video for World of Warships Legends. It's been a while since I last said that. I took a little break from the game, in case you couldn't tell, but I have returned now, and I'm back with a video for the Tier 7 French, not quite cruiser, the Cherbourg. It's a bit of an odd pick, but I was just I'm going down right now, so I thought, why not make a video on it? I'm using André Lemonnier with Beyond Range, Igniter, Punch Through, Fixated and Fully Packed, and I'm also using the inspiration as Norman Scott and Francesco Mimbelli. For the upgrades, it's just kind of standard. It's aiming systems mod, propulsion mod, concealment mod, and main battery reload mod. And we do load into this game 30 seconds late here already. We've got Riposte, Sea Spawn, carry game unfortunately, but thankfully a down tier, because these ships are, well, I hesitate to say 3 damage, but that's essentially what they are. They're all 25mm all over, basically. I think even the Tier 8 has the 25mm bow, so cruisers and battleships love to farm these things. Anyway, what we're going to do here is we're going to get to the island directly in front of us, and we're going to try and position ourselves to the right of it, just in case we can get some good crossfires into B or A, because, well, this thing has some pretty nasty guns when you're shooting at cruisers. Speaking of the guns, they do seem to be a bit inconsistent, actually. I find that, well, the dispersion is French, so that's already kind of a negative. It's very on and off dispersion-wise. Sometimes the dispersion is great, sometimes it's really poor. And the shell performance itself is iffy, in my opinion, probably because of a dispersion. Definitely doesn't help. But you just get, like, terrible salvos, or you get really good-looking salvos, and then you get, like, 3 torpedo protection hits or whatever the ribbon's even called. I think it's called that. Anyway, I've got a Heinrich here, but I think he's just going to immediately charge into sea. We've got an enemy Scharnhorst immediately, who's doing the same thing. Also, there's an enemy ship in sea as well already. That's a cruiser of some kind, a Cleveland, if I remember correctly. Anyway, the salvo on the Scharnhorst didn't look very good. We got about 6k for it for whatever reason. I thought they were going to be turrets, but whatever. Anyways, we're just going to use the island to protect our left flank from the Clevelands, because, well, I was going to say the last thing you want in Cherbourg is to be shot at by a Cleveland, but really you don't want to be shot at anything. Speaking of which, we did just get double fired by the Scharnhorst with like 2 shell hits, so that's nice, I guess. Anyway, Scharnhorst just going to go full speed, charge, regular German battleship main activities, I guess. I try not to be too harsh on German battleship mains, whatever. Anyway, Scharnhorst broadside, we get an opportunity to do some damage. I tend to be a bit liberal with the reload booster on these ships, because, well, if you take fully packed, you have 3. And I tend to use them more early on in the game for whatever reason. Yeah, that salvo was a bit disappointing. 5 overpens, by the way. I think you can see what I mean by the shell performance sometimes. Anyway, Scharnhorst is already dead, basically. Our Heinrich's not helping the case. He's eating carrier torpedoes. I'm just going to reverse out of the way of these Scharnhorst torpedoes, because Scharnhorst only has 6km torpedoes, but I am just going, and he was more than 6km away, but I was going to reverse anyway, because there's always a chance he's using Agile Lane Scharnhorst. Allied Heinrich, unfortunately, I think he's flooding, or is he not? No, he's fine. For now, I say he's fine, he's got no health left, but he's fine. Enemy carrier is going to be a big problem, because Parcel with the AP bombers is more than capable of citadelling Cherbourg. I don't think he's actually going to do that this game, though. I just want to say that neither of these games will be particularly high damage. Have I already said that? I feel like I've already said that. I don't know. Yeah, it's not going to be a high damage game, but it's going to be a game that we're going to pull back and turn into a win, because, well, you'll see. But also, credit to our own team for pulling their own weight as well, particularly the Allied Hawk, and I think we had a Pan-Asian cruiser of some kind. It might have been. I don't know. Carrier is also quite helpful. Our Allied carrier is very good this game. Anyway, we are sneaking into C, Just going to sit right on the edge of this, just so we can cap it and not be spotted, because one benefit of these ships is that the detectability is quite good. So, I mean, that's probably one of the only things they're good at. You can outspot a lot of crews in these things, so might as well use it. So we did take a shot at that Cleveland already. Unfortunately, he's got situational awareness, which means I'm going to be very hesitant to shoot at him again, so we don't waste another salvo. I'm also not shooting generals, so we just can't be shot at. Our allied resistance, unfortunately, dies in the cap. You don't see many resistances, but there are 2 in this game. Actually, I'd say you don't see many, but I've seen quite a few recently. I'm not really sure why. I'm not sure how good it is. I don't have it myself. Speaking of resistance, we've already got the cap in time, so we're just going to take the shot. See, like, the second turret there is alright, but the first one's just poor, and we get 2 overpens. It's frustrating, but this ship makes up for it in gun form sometimes. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Luck of the draw. RNG, you know how it is. Speaking of RNG, Serpent stands 2 shields, takes out our turret, not helpful. Just in case the enemy carrier tries to do anything, or, well, just to keep our damage gun available, we're just not going to repair that, you know, to keep the damage gun available. So, what we've done here is that we've got C, and, well, B's still open, and our destroyer is in A, but he's got no health left, and he's quite outnumbered, and also the enemy carrier's on his side of the map, so I doubt he'll last long. So we're going to move up and along here, try and get some damage and crossfires in. Hopefully on the enemy cruisers, because, well, that's what this ship's good at. I mean, you can get damage on battleships. I don't know why, it's just, like, really inconsistent on getting damage on battleships. You'll see that in the next game, actually, I've got lined up. It's a good example of that. We're just going to take a pot shot here at the turrets from behind the islands. Dispersion, not very good. I mean, it's better than nothing. Overpen shatters 1 pen. Well, at least we are farming planes, though, and that gives you a lot of XP, so there is that. I don't want the enemy Caracciolo, or Caracciolo, or whatever it's called. I don't want Francesco Caracciolo from... I don't want it to cap the base, so I'm just going to try and turn around a bit here, try and get the island between me and A, so I can focus on preventing the Caracciolo from getting A. He's on fire, though, from the carrier. I'm not sure if that's permanent or not. But we're already now down on ships. We've got 1 battleship remaining. We've lost 3. And obviously the enemy team has now like 200 points advantage. They've got C now because the Caracciolo's in there. And, well, the Champon's killed the Caracciolo at least. I'm not sure how he died so quickly. Caracciolo seems to be pretty tanky in my mind. Anyway, C's secure. But B is not. And so we're going to try and prevent anybody from trying to take B. Dispersions, well, I won't talk about it. 4 overpens. You know, I'm just not going to talk about the dispersion for the rest of this game because it's getting very repetitive. So I'll refrain myself. Now this is when the enemy Cleveland turns up, and I'm a bit excited to try and get a shot off. And some of the shells hit the island, and some of them go through the island, so they'll just be ghost shells, and we get 3 overpens in the end. I really feel like that should have been the salvo, but, you know, it makes a difference. We pop the reload booster just in case he's going to say that he doesn't, but the resistance is still broadside, so we still get that, and hopefully we get something out of it. Well, not really, but double fired again, the damage gun's gone down again. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, well, I'm like 99% confident the fires on the ship last 45 seconds because they're not actually... Well, it's not a cruiser, is it? Let's be honest. It's more of a battle cruiser if it's not, you know, got the gunpowder and the speed. I don't know. Anyway, I was being a bit toxic there for which time. I'm getting a bit frustrated. The points in the ships obviously what we really need, but anyway, we're going to slow down, try and take out Tirpitz. I'm not sure what Tirpitz is trying to accomplish, but he gets a shot off into our Champhon, but doesn't do anything because Atlanta Hull is trolly like that. Anyway, we finally get some decent dispersion on the battleship, and we do take him out. I said I was going to mention dispersion. I've just mentioned it there, so I've failed in that regard. Now, I've got a bit of a plan in mind. I know, well, we know now that it's the Cleveland going to be, presumably. Well, it can only be the Cleveland going to be because the Champhon and the Mainz are over there. So we're going to try and finally deal a fatal blow to this Cleveland, take B, go around south and get a crossfire in. Crossfire's your best friend after all. Biggest threat is of course the aircraft as well, because, well, I don't want to be caught with my pants down, damage con off, get a permaflood from the carrier. That won't be nice. I'm a bit I rush a bit here to take the shot on the Cleveland. I think you can tell I'm a bit rusty at the game. I only fire one turret, and I just zoom in once and immediately fire without actually aiming, because the Cleveland's already unfortunately turned, so we just got 2 ricochets from that. Now, at the very least, our allied carrier is doing his part in trying to kill the Cleveland as well. Our allied carrier is a cargo, you can tell from how low those bombs dropped. And we can take another salvo, and this time the Cleveland isn't going to get away with it. Inconsistent damage. Just what it is. Well, it was a bit of a waste of a reload booster again, and I'm now out of them, but I've got plenty of health to play around with, so I'm going to try and... Well, I was going to try and take B, but then I kind of remembered there's a carrier in this game, and taking a cap is a Sisyphean task if there's a carrier in the game, so that's not going to happen. Unfortunately, our Champhon does go down. He played decently. I can respect him, and I think he gets the... No, he doesn't get the resistance. Hawk gets the resistance. Anyways, Champhon is the one caught with his pants down. The enemy Champhon, that is, and we get the Citadel. Don't ask how these ships' guns work. Anyways, we actually get the luckiest rudder jam. Oh no, Champhon does get a resistance. We get the luckiest rudder jam of all time here. Just enough so we could skirt around the island and get the mines. Who... I'm not going to lie, I don't really know what's going on with the mines, because I don't think he actually shoots me once. So, you can write paid actors in the comments all you like, it'll be perfectly understandable. Dispersion again. I was hoping for the Citadel, but it's not quite enough for the Citadel. Mines armor, well, German cruiser armor in general. Cherbourg seems to be alright at citadeling, you know, hippers and those kind of ships with their weird turtleback schemes, but just didn't happen these times around. Anyways, we're now going to move into A. I mean, the Mines is dead, and our cargo's got max health. Mines isn't going to kill the cargo. We are going to move into A, stop the point gain. And seeing as there only is a minute and 20 seconds left on the clock, we're going to wait this game out, basically. I mean, the enemy carries by 9s. We can't get him. We've now got the points advantage by killing the mines. Unfortunately, because of the carrier, again, carrier capping base, can't do that. We're not going to get the base in time. I do thank our carrier for putting fighters above. Our carrier did play this game fairly well as our allied Champhon and the Hawk. So I'd like to congratulate them on their efforts towards our victory in this game. No damage farming on the carrier available though, and the battle timer is now going to tick down, and, well, the game will end and we win. We're using Poseidon, by the way, if you couldn't tell. And that brings an end to that game. Not a particularly high damage game, but one which we clawed our way to victory from. Got some nice XP for it, at least. I'm still grinding the ship. I've got all the upgrades for it, but you know, just working on getting breast. Regardless, top of the team, we've got 3,000 base XP. That's what farming planes will do to you. And also getting the solo cap, that kind of helps. Anyway, good solid game. On to the next one.
Let the battle begin.
So for our second game here, we've got another down tier on the map straight. Domination game. We've spawned with an Anchorage and a Leon, I think. Although the Leon isn't going to stick around for very long. He's going to start making his move away. Don't need the thanks you spawn, please. I have to keep saying this. Anyways, we're going to go to D, obviously. And we're going to try and hug the large island on the right and maybe get some crossfires into the centre of the map in the process. I mean, the best armour this ship has are, well, it's islands. Really. I mean, you can't get anything past an island, so... Islands are your best friend, essentially. Especially because the ship does actually have a bit of a weak broadside, as you'd expect from a ship that's not meant to actually be broadside. Can be citadeled simply. We'll see that. We'll see that soon enough. So anyways, our Leon is going to leave us here, but I think we've got a friendly Massachusetts who ends up joining us as a replacement, which is nice. We are just going to slow down just in case we don't eat friendly torpedoes. Also, we are going to slow down because, well, there are shells in the air, so maybe we can spot somebody. Obviously, it's either going to be a Mogami or a D7 Provincian. And, well, I think that question has just been answered immediately. No, I'll rush to shoot the D7 Provincian. We don't notice the other shells. And that's a bit nasty. Anyways, the other enemy cruisers here as well, Mogami. So, our plan of kind of hugging this right island here so we don't take any damage has kind of been immediately foiled by the fact that there's D7 Provincian here, because obviously if there's a D7 Provincian around you can't stay still for any amount of time at all. They're bloody annoying to fight they are. I actually didn't get it from the campaign. I probably will get it when it's available for global XP again, which I imagine will be inevitable. Anyway, no one's spotted. Mogami was last seen flat broadside, so maybe take a cheeky peek here. And yeah, he's just sitting flat broadside. And I fire one turret because I think he's going to maybe remain, you know, he's going to try and juke us. But the second turret, well, we didn't get to fire it in time before he disappeared, but we got a blind shot and got like a pat on him. I don't know, we got a citadel. Either way, and he's back now. We've popped the reload booster. Don't want to be too reserved with the use of the reload booster, and we got 2 citadels off of that. And unfortunately, D7 Provincians led those bombs correctly, so that's a double fire and 8k damage we take unnecessarily, obviously with damage coming with that. So that's enjoyable. So we're down to the red in hell, even though if we have a heal. Anyways, Vanguard. You do need to respect the guns on the Cherbourg sometimes, because even if it is a cruiser and the guns are inconsistent, so is the damage, you can still be punished for it, as that Vanguard finds out. I'm gonna, you know, just give the Anchorage a thanks for the smoke. Anyway, we've been a bit of a strange scenario now, because we can't really capture the base. Well, we might be able to if we just sneak around. We might be able to remain unspotted. D7 Provincian could still land planes on us easily, though, because he knows where we are, spotted or not. But actually, the Massachusetts is now in D, so There is someone contesting the cap at least. I'm going to edge forwards a little bit here. We know Mogami's got no health left. So chances are he's just going to be on the other side of the map at the back line now. He's got no health to play around with. Anyways, oh yeah, Vanguard. Vanguard's back. You may notice that Cherbourg doesn't have very good AA at all. Well, that's it really, it just doesn't have very good AA. I mean, the French ships don't normally have very good AA, especially not with destroyers, and the cruisers aren't exactly known for having superb AA, but Cherbourg just seems to be pretty lacking, even for a French ship. Anyways, a Collingwood has just appeared. He's been unspotted for 5 minutes and he's just turned up in the cap, which is unexpected. I'm not sure if that was part of his strategy, but we're just going to see if we can, maybe get a cheeky shot in there, but we can't, so we're not going to bother. Anyways, said Collingwood's strategy doesn't seem to be working very much. He's just come face to face with Massachusetts, and it's not a favourable engagement for the Collingwood. Just in case he pops the Red Beast and gets another salvo into Massachusetts, we use our own to just finish him off real quick. That gives us a big advantage on this side because we know the Vanguard's got no health, and neither does the Mogami. If the Mogami's even still over here, because he might have ran away to A, he very probably hasn't, because the destroyer would have seen him. I mean, D7 Provincian is still here, so we need to kind of push him out, which is what I'm going to do. I'll make sure I do remain in a cap so I can get it first. Vanguard's dead, so I mean we can concentrate all of our efforts in now just killing the D7 Provincian, and well, hopefully then we can, it will take a while, but then we can just kind of flank around and help out the team with A, because there seems to be something they need help with. There is an enemy destroyer in A, but I'm pretty sure it's a Friesland, so there's not much of a torpedo threat there. Massachusetts gets shot into D7 Provincian. Unfortunately, it's D7 Provincian and thus cannot be citadeled. And we make sure of that. 6 overpens. In hindsight, I probably would have aimed slightly into the water because, you just get your shells slow down properly if they hit the water slightly, so you can get citadels, not overpens.
Beware of fire.
We only shoot one turret here because the Mogami's there, he's getting crossfire onto us. And I don't want that, so we're going to fire the second turret at Mogami. I hope he maybe dies to that. And, well, we miss. Or he dodges, or both. Both make sense in that scenario, I don't know why I'm saying that. Anyway, D7 Provincian. Not looking like the healthiest guy on the planet right now. I'm going to just pop every consumable at once here just to give us the best advantage we possibly can.
Enemy cruiser now lies in the depths.
And Mogami taken out to no health. Unfortunately, we're not going to get the double strike in time, but, just add insult to injury, we get another weird citadel on Mogami. With citadel, Mogami's not got a lot of armor, doesn't it? Yeah, whatever. Anyway, this is approximately the point of the game where the throwing starts, I think is the best way to put it. Or at least an attempted throw. Our Bismarck is killed by the Odin's torpedoes, unfortunately, and I think our allied Friesland is going to succumb to the enemy Friesland's firepower. And also the Mogami launched torpedoes into us, which if we didn't turn there we would have eaten. But we managed to avoid them, but you know who didn't avoid them? And so the throwing commences, and we're now on an equal number of ships. All of a sudden. Our monoglider hasn't been very good, he's travelling like 18 knots or something. Anyways, I'm on low health, Massachusetts is on low health. And I've suddenly realised that this game has gone from very, very, very much practically in the bag to we can lose if we don't play this correctly. I'm just going to time my shots here so we can only fire when the Gneisenauer is fired, because I don't want to be shot at by a ship, really. It just in the Cherbourg in general.
All stations, it's time to retreat.
So anyway, we've got who have we got left? We've got a BA Tirpitz, we've got a Resistance, Massachusetts and myself, and the enemy have got the Gneisenauer, a Flandre and a Friesland. I'm now going to load high explosive. I've got a bit of a problem with the ship's high explosive, in the fact that it's really kind of gash and is terrible. Okay, it's not that bad. The fire chance feels like it's a lot lower than it says it is. I can tell you that now. Anyways, enemy Friesland's gone into D, which is a bit of an, well, I said it's a bit of an up one. It's the right decision, kind of. Yeah, it's the right decision. He needs the caps. Our Resistance is, don't really know what he's done. I don't think he's done a lot this game, but he's going to be very, very useful in a moment. And unfortunately no fire, only three shell hits, but yeah. No fires. Fire chance is lower than it says it is. I swear, up and down. I get that Flandre is probably running some kind of brawler build, and so he's got, you know, fire chance reduction skills on. Anyway, our Resistance then decides that he's going to hit the Flandre with 3 torpedoes. I'm not sure how the Flandre has eaten all of those, but he has. Unfortunately, now we are going to lose our Resistance, but it means Flandre's damage control is on cooldown, so we can commence the fire spamming. Or as much as you can spam when your reload is 24 seconds. And no fires. Anyways, our Tirpitz is in a gunfight with the enemy Gneisenauer over at, oh, what cap unit is that? B. The cap layouts, they don't make sense in this game, okay? Why is B that one?
We have overcome the challenge.
Anyways, the enemy Friesland has moved into C now. And we're on a permanent fire in Flandre because, I mean, he's 10 times the HE spam where we will ever be. Because, well, I was going to say we're not going to set fire with that one, but he's dead now, so he can't.
Pull back without delay.
So, in my dying moments, I am, you know, try to tell people what to do. I was meant to try and tell the Massachusetts to cap D there. I think that's D. Yes, that is D. Anyway, I like Tirpitz. I don't immediately have a lot of faith in him. Mainly because he's still got the default patch on. But he seems to know what he's doing. Kind of. At least he's not spamming HE. German battleships have 2 playstyles, okay, I'm telling you. Spam HE at the back of the map, rush in and die in 5 minutes. That's all that they do. And people will ask, why do you hate German battleships so much? And why do you hate German battleship players so much? And I'm at the point in my life where I have played 22,000 games of Standard in World of Warships Legends. And the amount of times I have seen German battleships throw games has driven me mental, and I've lost all of my sanity completely. That's the reason. Anyway, this game is basically won. We've got 1 minute left. They can't hope to catch us on points, even if the Tirpitz dies. So we tried to throw, and then the enemy team threw even harder. Reasons tried his best to get the caps and the points, but In the end, is not enough for his team. We're going to go on to win this game, obviously. So, in the end, 110,283 damage. Got some nice XP bonus as well. That's a first XP bonus victory. We managed to get 2,515 base XP, which seems a bit generous, and we got top of the team. Massachusetts on our team, still the MVP in my opinion. So in the end, should you get Cherbourg? Well, I don't really think it's ever a great exercise to grind up a tech tree line just for one specific tech tree ship, but if you had to do that, this certainly wouldn't be it. I don't hate it, I don't dislike Cherbourg, but I also don't like it very much. The guns are too inconsistent for me, the armour's too farmable, it's not got enough health to then try and counteract the farming, I think is the word I'm trying to say. It's kind of like a 5 out of 10. I mean, if you get in the right scenario, then maybe it's a 6.5 to a 7. But that's if you just get broadside Magamis to shoot at, which apparently you can do a lot of damage to. Anyway, I'll see you very, very soon. At the time I'm posting this video, which I don't know because I haven't actually set the time when I'm going to post this video yet, I will be live the next day for the first time in... Well, basically since the day I last uploaded. I shall see you all then, hopefully. And like and subscribe if you did enjoy. And I'll see you all another time. Toodaloo, au revoir, bye bye.